And so the 5 tips that I gave are a way of, hopefully giving people a process for finding control in that chaos. So one, for example, the first tip was to see the big picture. And that really is about taking a step back and thinking about the experience that you're trying to create, and think about the context that your user might be in. Think about the different players that might be involved, whether or not it's an employee from your team or somebody from the community, another user, or a friend of your end user. Any number of these people might be contributing to that experience. And when you start to think about that and kind of pull it all together, and we like to draw it as a storyboard, you can start to get your head wrapped around those number of things.
I also like that. I mean, you said that the entire company needs to care about this big picture.
Yeah.
I mean, that, in some ways that sounds obvious. I mean, you're a company with a particular aim and goal in mind. But you utilise the storyboards, you have them printed out and displayed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're right. Like, it should be obvious, but I don't know if it is. There's so many there are a number of teams at your company, right? And everybody probably, hopefully, takes pride in their job, and they think about their job all day, every day. And so it's like, well, maybe they're in finance, maybe they, work in the mail room, but what they need to be reminded of is what part they play in the larger result and impact that they have in the world. And I think it's hard. It's hard for all of us to keep a perspective like that. And so that's the point of the storyboard. It's the point of having it on the wall, so that somebody from the mailroom, somebody from finance, somebody from engineering can see it and remember about that impact that we all are somehow contributing to.
And I think it's great because, I mean, I've all worked at so many organizations where, those documents, those things, they get buried on shared drives. They're thrown up at conferences or kind of kickoffs and things. And then, then that's gone. Yeah. So the lifting up and being visual with it and keeping it out there is great.
And I wouldn't lie about the fact that we try to make it something that people want to look at. So we hired a very skilled artist from PIXAR actually to draw it.
Wow! Cool.
So when you walk by, you want to look at it, and that is on purpose. We want you to look at it.
And people pop their head in and ask about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fantastic. Because you were saying about that, I wrote down that quote, it's the company as a whole, not the designers that are responsible for the experience. And I think we're hearing that a lot these days, but I think some designers have some trouble with that, because then what is my job? What's my job as a designer if everybody's responsible for that experience? What is it?
Yeah. It's a good question. Yeah, it's like here we are, putting our blood, sweat, and tears into this, and it's like if we're just a cog in the machine. But no, we're not a cog in the machine. In many ways, we're facilitators. We're facilitators of the contributions that multiple people are going to make. And so perhaps the designer can come to the table with good ideas for a process that will end in a good result, utilizing user research, putting storyboards up, for example, getting the contributors from across the company to contribute well. Perhaps we might be a little bit better at visualizing it and generating ideas about it. But I would worry about a designer that thinks they single-handedly solve the problem, because the problem is bigger than any one of us.
Yeah,
exactly.